All right, and we are back. And this is On the Sevens with Pythias B. Metatron, where we come to awaken, ascend, and expand. I am Pythias B. Metatron, your hostess with the mostest, and today is a good damn day to be me. You know what? Every day is a good damn day to be me. I be that, I believe that, I live that, I am that. I want all of us that are on this call right now, repeat that after me. We are not going to have our famous Homie the Clowns repeat session. However, I want you to repeat it after me. Keep yourself on mute, but repeat this. Today is a good damn day to be me. Nah, scratch that. Every day is a good damn day to be me. I encourage each of us to be that, believe that, live that each and every day, and you will see your life improving exponentially each and every day. It's good to be here. Saturday, January 8th. This is our regular 4 p.m. class. I decided that I would give us a refresh of where we left off because I know it's been a while and I just didn't want to jump back into the planes of expression, the numbers of them without refreshing us on what the planes of expression truly are. So, you know, I'm being a crazy teacher today. Anybody tell me what the planes of expression, what do they deal with? Anyone? Anybody? Honeybee? You have no thought with planes of expression? Planes of expression. Uh,
Hold on.
okay.
Is it our balance and our temperament?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It the planes of expression show us on these levels that we're going to break down just how we respond physically, how we're made up physically, mentally, emotionally, and intuitively. Um, and they are, you know, everybody is concerned with your soul journey or your soul urge or your soul energy or your first step numbers. These numbers on these planes of expression truly are the ones that you need to look at when you are assessing not only yourself, but someone else. um, the 4 planes of expression, simply put, a balanced and calm mentality and way of being are valuable commodities in this day and age. How you operate and vibrate on a daily basis makes all the difference in how your soul's journey plays out. Your given name at birth tells your entire story, everything about you, your likes, dislikes, your appetites, aspirations, your proclivities, propensities, all are encoded in your given name at birth. The 4 planes of expression will unlock a part of this code in your given name and show you the status, alignment, and grounding. That's important. You guys might want to write that down. The planes of expression shows you the status, alignment, and grounding of your physical, mental, emotional, and intuitive planes or intuitive selves. You will find out so much more about how you truly are at the soul core level and be able to begin to understand everything about yourself once you get a understanding of the 4 planes of expression. Any comments? Anybody want to comment? No. We are mind, body, heart, and soul. All of these work together to make each of us unique and are the vehicles of our every thought, action, word, and deed. How we how we react and how we respond and how we effect, EFFEC, are all wrapped up on these 4 planes. Now, if you want to take notes, physical plane, these are the 4 planes of expression. Physical, which represents our bodies. Mental, which represents our minds. Emotional, which represents our emotions. And intuitive, which represents our soul / spirit. So, how you figure the planes of expression. Anybody need to get a pencil, get a piece of paper? Because I'm gonna go quickly through this part. I'm gonna go quickly, so just raise your hand if you want me to wait till you get a piece of paper and a pencil to write this down. If not, I'm gonna run on. If I don't see no hand raised, I'm gonna run on. All right. So this is how you figure out the planes of expression. All 4s and 5s in your given name at birth. So all DMVs and all ENWs. If you have D or M and a V in your name, or E and an N and a W in your name, those numbers go on the physical plane, and they're assigned to your physical plane. All 1s and 8s. So if you have AJS or HQZ in your name, they go to the mental plane. All 2s, 3s, and 6s. So all BKTs, all CLUs, and all FOXs are assigned to the emotional plane. And all 7s and 9s. So all PGYs and Is and Rs are assigned to the intuitive plane. Any questions about that? Nope. All right. Every chart that you do, every numerology chart that you do, every astrological chart that you do, every card report that you do, card chart that you do, any type of chart that you do will be different. And you will, and especially in numerology, you will sometimes, because we want to talk about number intensification. Now, sometimes you'll come up with a cipher or a 0 on a plane. This, don't think that you have figured it incorrectly if you come back with a 0. This is as accurate a description of character as many numbers. So if you say, for instance, do I have anyone in here that has a 0 on one of the planes? Anybody on the call?
I do not.
Okay.
I personally don't, but my dad did, and I think I inquired about that.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna explain what a cipher or a 0 on the plane is. It does not mean what it suggests, a blank or a lack or some sort of deformity of limitation of expression. It simply means that the person's response on that plane, it won't be outstanding, and that some other plane is the key to their type, their personality type, or their type and their talent. So say for instance, I'll use the physical plane as an example. Say you have a guy that has or a person that has a 0 on the physical plane, and you threaten this person, this person may not even respond to the threat on the physical plane because they're that's not where they're at. Now, while you are communicating the threat, they may be talented on the mental plane and already figured this shit out and then put their plan back into work. So don't think that if there's a cipher on any one of these planes, that is somehow making that person inferior on that plane. It does not mean that at all. A zero on a plane of expression does not mean that. It just means that some other plane is going to be more stronger and is going to compensate for that zero in that plane. Make sense? All right. Never condemn anyone for a low degree on any plane. I don't know how other folks have been teaching. Well, I do know how other folks have been teaching these sciences. They're in all of these sciences, in astrology, numerology, the cards, whatever it is, there are no bad numbers. There are no bad signs. There are no bad cards. You know what makes it bad? Look in the mirror. It's how you have been living your life. Karma is neither good nor bad. Karma just is. Just is what? Just is like you have been. So however you have been, it's how your karma is. If you've been shitty to people, guess what? Karma's gonna be shitty. You've been cool, you're gonna have cool karma. People who be cool, you don't even know it's your karma because it's just something normal that happens. But I guarantee you be shitty, you know when your karma hits. You know when your karma hits. Whatever number is on any plane, let it be a guide to their vocational placement in business and a means of understanding the temperament of people around you, especially your spouse, business partner, children, and other significant loved ones. If for nothing else, take this knowledge, this information, and everybody in your immediate circle, everybody, especially your spouse, if you're in business with somebody, do that. Your boss at work. Man, I did so many charts on bosses at work and owners of companies, and yeah, your kids. You definitely, if you are a parent, if you are a parent, yeah, you want to get a natal chart and you want to get this mastered self full assessment before they're born, at birth. As soon as you know the birth date, all that information, you want to get that. And it is a blueprint and a guide for them to live their best self from day one. That's what these sciences are. These sciences, they never are a way out of any adversity. I bet you all of us on here, as long as we've been following some sort of science, we still had fucked up shit happen in our lives. It's not a way to duck a lick. You can't duck a lick, but if you see them coming, you're prepared. If you know that next month is going to flood, you're going to be prepared. You're going to prepare yourself for the flood, correct? If I know it's going to flood here in Vegas next month, I'm going to prepare. I'm either going to put a bunch of sandbags around this house, or if it's going to be worse than that, I'm going to move my shit up out of here and move. That's what this science is. That's what all of this is for. It is for you to be able to know that the freeway is blocked an hour before you start driving. That's what I'm meaning by this. That's what I'm meaning by this.
It's like checking the weather before you leave the house.
Absolutely.
Get your raincoat.
Absolutely. If you know that that you are in a 9 personal year, then you know that you should be beginning nothing. You should be ending shit. If you're in a 4 personal year, you should be getting to work. If you're in an 8 year like I am in, I should be expanding on all levels except my weight. I'm going to keep my weight the way it is, but everything else this year, this calendar year until December 31st for Pythias B Metatron is on serious expansion mode. Wherever I can expand, awaken, and ascend, yep. 3 years, opportune years, the bid year. Put your bid in, get creative in the 3 year. Be ready for every opportunity that is coming your way, because there are going to be plenty of opportunities coming your way. Yep. 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 So being able to know this ahead of time, I knew I was going into an 8 year. Thus the reason for diving into my ambitious project. Because I knew that this is the year. This is the year. I had a Chinese master astrologer back in 2017 gave me a reading, and he told me exactly what was going to happen. He said 2022 is your money abundant year. So I've been looking forward to this year. I have tools that give me a forecast. So I use them. People in my life, folks I want to do business with, I read their ass. I pretty much read everybody. Everybody. I do. I don't know how to live my life without, and I have been since like I was 15, 16, 17 years old. You better use the gift that you have. If you could look at somebody and know their intentions before they get 5 feet to you, that's a gift. It's not cursed. That's a blessing. Because anybody who mean me no good, I can see them coming from a long way off. I'm for real with that. I can read folks' intentions. In a crowd, I can tell the folks that mean me harm from way off. Use your gifts, folks, ladies. Y'all is really tapped in. I had to work hard to be as cosmic as I am. I have to do a whole lot of shit just to get spiritual every morning. Take me about 3 hours. 3 hours. I'm doing rituals and meditations and chanting and all of that. And still sometime in the middle of that, I'll be like, yeah, right. It's natural for you ladies. You ladies are a portal. You guys are a portal. Ladies, women, you're a portal. Use your gifts for you first, then commercialize them. We a lot of folks got that shit backwards. They commercialize. They want to read a book and then start giving folks readings. Read a book this weekend, and Tuesday now, madam, I'm master this, and let me give you a reading. I got a funny story to tell you guys before we get into the lesson again. The other day, I made a comment on a astrology post, and somebody took it upon themselves to say, I read your name and I want to give you a reading. And I kind of chuckled and said, no, thank you, I'm good. But, that didn't stop. The reading came anyway. And, I don't discourage anyone who is perfecting their craft. However, y'all know me. And I kind of let the person know that if you are a serious reader and a serious metaphysician, then you should have picked up on me that whatever that horse shit you just typed wasn't even me. I said, did you even go to my page first and look at my page before you started off with this? And yeah, so because I know who I am and who I have been and who I will be, I'm good with allowing. I didn't get offended. I kind of chuckled. I thought it was kind of cute, actually. You guys got strength. You got power. You have knowledge. You have access to things that we all have access to them, but you guys know how to use them. You guys are willing to be ridiculed to say that I read my astrology chart, or I know my numbers, or I know what cards mine, because that's all it is. Folks ridicule. I've been ridiculed for years about this, for years. Doesn't bother me. It hasn't bothered me since I was 16. That's the beginning of the IDGAFA and draw a line. I don't give a fuck about what you are going. I don't care. I know what works for me. You know what I'm saying? You know what works for you. Be that, do that, lean into that, and give a damn about what anybody outside of you says about it. And contrary to popular belief, everything that I do ain't for no goddamn entertainment purposes either. I'm not on here to entertain nobody.
Can I say something about that?
Yes, Victorious.
Because legally in some states, they require you to put that as a disclosure or a disclaimer. And I think it's unfair to people that do this type of work, because I had somebody ask me one time, why do you put that? And I said, legally, I'm required to. And she was like, it takes away from your craft. It makes it look, like it's not believable.
Well, I refuse to
that's that Aquarius in you.
I refuse to add that shit in any of my shit. I'm not, and I'll be damned. I'll challenge anybody. I'll go to court over this shit. I'm serious, because this ain't no entertainment. This is not for entertainment.
It really ain't.
You want entertainment, go watch the 48. Go to the movie or something. This ain't entertainment. At the worst, I will put on there, this is for educational purposes. I will do that, but entertainment, no, that's some horse shit. Yeah, no, not gonna do that. All right, let's get on with the number intensification. If there is a low degree on the physical plane, practicality is not the dependable side of their character. Yeah, I did say the first 48 for entertainment. There's a lack of caution or sense of values, and long periods of physical or hard work will break the body down. No physical plane numbers. Physical plane is not the place of power. Physical work and application will be avoided. Not could or would, will be avoided. Use other plane talents for vocational direction. Many physical plane numbers give tremendous endurance and ability to withstand harsh conditions. Even when ill, the endurance to pull through is always there. Strong, positive opinions and a cautious, practical nature. I mentioned the physical, and this one right here. I have a 6 on the physical. Now we know the 6 is duty, service, honor to the family, and selfless sacrifice. Is durable. It's got endurance. 6s are built durable. I am grateful for the 6 on the physical. The 6 for me on the physical doesn't mean that I won't ever not be sick. hell, you guys on this call, just with the ones on the Zoom call, know that I've been sick many times. However, the 6 on the physical allows me to pull fucking through every time. Every time. Just went through a battle, latter part of November, early part of December, still dealing with the remnants, has a procedure scheduled for February 7th. However, I pulled through. Um, um, so even when you are ill, if you have many physical plane numbers, that endurance will pull you through. It'll pull you through. No mental plane numbers. Character is not a mental type, even with a high IQ. We know some people that is smart as hell but can't think for shit. They probably have no mental plane numbers. The reason why is never important to a person with no mental plane numbers. They don't care. They don't care. And they never find themselves lost in thought. Those are the people that have to really work at creative visualization meditation. They really would have to work at it because they just never can center themselves and get lost in a thought of manifestation or because why? Because the reason why for shit ain't even important to them. It's not even important. Many mental numbers gives a person fine reasoning powers, strong will, and executive ability. Reason rules over the heart with these folks, and the ability to push things through to a logical conclusion. That's for the many mental plane numbers. 0 or few emotional plane numbers, the ability to express feelings is limited or is not important. Now, I want to stop right there. Anybody ever dealt with somebody seriously that couldn't express themselves or couldn't express their feelings, just always seem like they're always uptight? You ask them what's going on, nothing. Yes, Victorious. Oh, I thought you.
No, I was gonna say again, my dad.
Yeah.
And then when he would have these outbursts of, I don't know, when he would like finally just when it would all boil to the top, it would be so unexpected.
Man, I'm telling you, no or a few emotional plane numbers, and this person will continually just keep it bottled in. Y'all know what it do when you shake up a bottle of champagne and then pop the cork? That was your daddy when he went the fuck off, wasn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, my mom bared the brunt of his anger.
Yeah.
But I think that was some past life stuff. But yeah.
Yeah. Now, on the flip side, many emotional plane numbers gives wasted energy and lack of self-direction, too much imagination, and a high-strung disposition. And too many emotional plane numbers, the heart and affections rule over logic and reason. So I know a few folks who got too many emotional plane numbers, and everything is flowery and fantasy, and you know, when the heartbreak comes, oh my gosh, man, it's
The end of the world.
Yes, it's sky is falling.
I have 8.
8. Yes. Well, see, your 8. Yeah. Just think about it. When some shit really starts to hit the fan, it overwhelms you real quick. Just,
oh my God. And I've been told most of my life that I am too sensitive and way too emotional.
Over the top. You get, because that 8. Yes. Now 8 is a great number, but that 8 it's two interconnected curves, so it never stops. So once you get tipped emotionally, it don't stop. It just keeps feeding. One feeds the other, feeds the other, feeds the other, feeds the other, feeds the other.
And one of the things that I've had to do was like really pay attention to things that I let into my mental, like
Absolutely.
the
Absolutely.
things, especially during these last 2 years.
Absolutely.
So I had to cut out a lot of the news, a lot of social media, and even some people to that degree.
Absolutely. 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 Thank you for that. In the majority of names, the intuitive plane is not the most outstanding plane. For intuition is a very dynamic quality. What I mean by very dynamic quality is all of us on this call got intuition, but some of the folks on the call, intuition is more in tune or higher in tune, or or maybe it's just some of us we trust our intuition differently. I've always been a gut player. Hunches, a gut. What does my gut say? Yeah. And I knew at a very, very young age, 8, maybe 9 years old, that I knew shit that was getting ready to happen for other people and for myself. So I have trusted my intuition more. I've trusted my intuition more than I've trusted my mental, physical, and emotional plane. I've trusted my intuitive plane. I just didn't know that that's what it was that I was doing at the time. But yeah, because it is a very dynamic quality, and one that I learned to trust in at a very young age, and my gut has never guided me wrong. My heart has, my eyes have, and my mind has. But my intuition has, every time I've listened to my intuition, it has been a grand slam home run. Every time. Intuition done kept me out of shit. Yeah, it have. It have. So, and for general living and well-being, only a small touch of intuition is needed. So, for just a little bit of intuition, just a little bit of trust in your intuition. All right, I'm gonna put us all on Front Street here. I want y'all to put in the chat box a number between 1 and 9. 1 being for the purposes of this, 1 being the lowest, 9 being the highest. How much do each of us trust our intuition? Put it in the chat. All right. All right. All right. All right. Okay, Deirdre. All right. There is no wrong answer. So it doesn't matter what number it is. There's no wrong answer. Yes, Sharon.
Okay, so let me add a little context to that.
Okay.
My intuition is on point, but I know this is going to sound crazy. There are times when I opt to not listen for the experience.
Okay. No, that's not crazy at all. That's not crazy at all. I have overridden intuition a couple of times. And yeah, after about the 3rd time, I was like, really, dog? You really just keep doing that, huh? Yes, Deirdre, go ahead.
Hi there, Mark.
Hi,
and
Deirdre.
everyone. How's everybody?
Yeah, we were great.
Good. Actually, I didn't even know what I wanted to put, what number I wanted to put, because I think my intuition is very good. However, I always give the benefit of the doubt. Well, I used to, and I used to allow the benefit of the doubt to win over what I know I heard. I always hear it, or I see it, always. But for some reason, I want to give the benefit of the doubt. My son actually told me the benefit of the doubt was not my friend.
It ain't your friend, just like manual labor ain't my friend. Benefit of the doubt is nobody's friend. It's not. It's not your
Yeah.
friend, man. It's not your friend. It's not.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like you can see it.
Yeah.
You can see it right there. It's like talking to you, telling you. And for some reason, I overthink stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
How many mental numbers do you have?
I wasn't with you, so
I'll figure it out for you.
uh,
Um,
soon.
yeah. We'll have a link for that everybody could just run it and
Okay,
while we're
yeah.
here on the call. So
Yeah, I haven't been here in a minute. When you ask mental number, are you talking about what we have done previously?
yeah, I'm just giving a recap over
Oh, I see. Okay.
the last lesson that we did before I just jump into the numbers.
Oh, okay, very good.
Yeah. All right. Thank you then. Yes, Victorious.
This is the last time I'm gonna speak. I just want to piggyback on what Sharon said. And the same thing with the 8 or the 9 is that I know I tend to be a little paranoid because of some of the subject matters that I study. And so even though like in my hearts of heart, I know what's right and I know what is real, but then there's always just that little piece in my mind of maybe I'm just being a little paranoid. But then I also know that too, one man's paranoia is another person's heightened sense of awareness.
Absolutely.
I'm very cognitive of that. But at the same time, I gave an 8, but like for me, I actually trust my intuition over my thoughts and my heart sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm an intuitive plane truster 100%. I don't do nothing outside of the intuitive plane. Yes, honeybee. Unmute yourself.
Figure out how to unmute it. I just wanted to piggyback off what Victoria said, because I find myself doing that a lot. And now where I am, I know that it's my intuition. Before I was like, I can't explain it. It doesn't make sense logically, but it doesn't, like, it feels right.
Absolutely.
And then I learned that like some people, because my mental plane is full, but my heart plane has the most amount of activity. So I've learned to like really trust my intuition over the years. Like it even goes back to when I was living in Vegas and I was staying with my mom, and my intuition was like, pack a bag and leave for the rest of the day, don't come back. And I was like, well, why would I do that? And it didn't make sense at the time. But a couple of hours later, my brother started blowing up my phone and they're like, are you okay? What's wrong? Like, are you okay? Where are you? And I'm like, huh? And they're like, just stay put. And it turns out like the next door neighbor had gotten shot right in front of our kitchen window. So if I had come back at any time of the day, like I could have gotten caught up in that. And my intuition spoke to me. It didn't make sense at the time, but it felt right. So I tend to be one of those people that are just like, it's not always logical, but just trust it.
Absolutely. And we have to know that when the intuition seems illogical, that's when it's the most logical, and that's kind of tough, coming out of the preset thought patterns that society has bombarded everybody with. But when your gut is seemingly telling you something that seems illogical, that's the most logical thing that could ever be happening. Jolene, did you want to add something? I see you chimed in.
Oh, I'm sorry. You hear me?
Yes, I can
Am
hear
I
you.
on? I'm driving. So
Okay.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. No, yeah. You asked for a number, and I said I wanted to do that, but I couldn't. But
right.
I'm the highest. I love my intuition, but my brain is like sometimes get confused, and sometimes I doubt my intuition. Lately, this is all lately, and so in the last 2 months, it's like I don't. Like I said, I've been unsettled, like kind of. But prior, I was all good, and then now I'm all tore up. So I'm still trying to get my intuition, and I'm having a hard time passing these tests I want to take, and I'm challenging myself, but then I'm lazy about it, and I gotta get back to like studying. I mean, I never had a problem with studying. Now I'm so unsettled with it. So I don't know if I'm tired of it. I'm too old. I don't know what the hell going on. So I don't know.
No, I don't believe you're too old for anything. I don't believe you're tired of it. It is just the beginning. We're just 8 days into a new calendar year vibration. And when you go, each of us either goes from an odd number to an even, or even number to an odd. That's how they work. So it is easier going from an odd number into an even number year. It is a little bit more.
7.
Huh?
I'm a number 7, right? I'm a 7, right?
No. Well, when's your birthday? Just the month and day.
October 13th.
So 1, 4. So 5 and 6. So you're 5 and 6. You're in 11 too. So you just came out of a 1 year. So yeah, everything's going to slow down. Everything is going to slow down. And it's 11-2 year for you, Jolene. So it's going to be, you're going to have to deal with the conflicts in your spiritual life, and you're going to have relationship shit that you're going to have to harmonize, and you're going to have delays and all kind of things. Yes, Victoria.
Can I just share with her? I'm still in the midst of an 11-2 year because I haven't got to my birthday yet. But everything you're saying is so right on point. And there were just days where it wasn't super overwhelming, but there were just days where I wanted to just sprint and move forward. And the universe was like, not today.
Right.
And then there were even times where I was questioning my religious belief. I had a friend or a cousin send me something, and it started making me think otherwise. And then there was that question in my head, or in my heart more than anything. I said, if you can prove to me, I'm not going to go deep, but if you can prove to me that, that this particular deity is not a solar deity, then maybe I can listen to what you're saying. But if you can't really prove to me that, then yeah, I can't follow that. But it made me question my spiritual beliefs to a certain degree. So
absolutely,
that's right on.
You have to deal with the conflicts in your spirituality and your spiritual life during an 11-2 year. You have to. They almost come up right in the beginning, just bam, just right up in your face. Until you balance those and resolve those conflicts, it's gonna be choppy and up and down. You're gonna take 2 steps forward and get hit backwards 5 steps, and you take 3 more steps forward, and then the bottom fall out, and you gotta climb back up just to where you were. It seemed like you never make any progress. Yes, Honeybee, go ahead.
I just had a quick question. When she mentioned that, I always forget how to calculate my personal year. It's your month, your day, and the current year, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And don't you have to break that number down, the year to the lowest number?
You don't do your birth year. To get your current year.
We can't hear you.
To get your birth year, you do your month and day, and then you add it to the 4 digits of the current year. That's how you get your current birth year, your current personal year.
But I have a question. Do you have to break? Because remember, I was asking this in regards to, because when you did my birth number, I came up with a different number. It was the same number, but you told me that in order to get the straight 7 for my birthday, that I needed to break down the year to the lowest number. Do you do that with the same?
You do that, but 222 is a straight 6.
Okay.
Yeah. 222 is a straight 6.
Okay.
Yeah. Because for general living well-being, only a small touch of intuition is necessary. An absence of numbers on the intuitive plane is seldom found. Most names have at least one. For to live wisely, everyone needs a link to the cosmos for guidance, providence, and protection. If you have too many intuitive plane numbers, give spiritual sensitiveness and great dramatic talent. However, health will be an issue for you. When intuition is average, it gives a depth of feeling and ability to understand mankind and humanity without too much personal feeling. The ability to think, work, love, and to succeed in our chosen line of endeavor is not allocated or regulated to any one plane alone. However, we often live our lives more in one side of our nature than others. on the whole, most of us are well-balanced individuals, capable of meeting life from all levels and for all circumstances, having some degree of each quality in the planes of expression. They make very fine citizens indeed. It is the extremes of temperament or intensification which make for the unusual reactions to life's opportunities and help to make life interesting and not dull. These also, the extremes of temperament or intensification, these also cause some of the strange happenings in the world of crime and keep our courts very, very busy. Any questions about the intensification? The number intensifications. I like that. That was a nice, nice discussion. And I want to assure everyone on these calls with me, and I want to encourage everyone on these calls. If we having a back and forth and it's in with the lesson and everything is cool, nobody is saying too much of nothing. I own my platform, and I pay for Zoom so we can talk as long as the hell we want to. So nobody is never having to feel like you're talking too much. I got a mute button over here. I can mute you if I think you're talking too much. So it's all good. I don't want anybody to feel like you are talking too much. Nobody's talking too much. This is how it's supposed to be. And this is how an active learning environment. I want an active learning environment. I don't want to just sit up here and spew a bunch of shit and y'all sit back there and then, oh, yep, time to go, and then nothing. By your interaction and the way that you guys interact lets me know that you're receiving something. Yes, Victorious.
I just want to comment on something that Jolynn said during her discussion. I want to remind her that Mercury is in shadow right now, in its shadow zone. So if you're remember that was one of the things, you're going to be feeling a little off kilter, you're going to be feeling a little fuzzy, and the information is not flowing like it normally would. So just keep that in mind. And it's going to be like that probably until February 23rd. So just be mindful of that when you're into your studies, and just, don't be hard on yourself and just try to stick with it.
Thank you. I needed the encouragement. It's like I was trying to remember multiple, in psychology. I took psychology and I have honors in psychology. And most of I never had to write a paper. It's all multiple choice. And now it's like it just goes in. I read it and it stays in the paper, on the paper. I have no kind of idea. And then now after the test, it's like I'm taking the test all over again, and then I see the answer.
Yeah,
it's like, what the hell? It's like, what? It's like, but I understand. Thank you.
You're so welcome. I just wanted to remind you of that.
Yes, I'm not going crazy. Thank you.
No, you're not.
Go ahead, Deidre.
Yes, I just wanted to add to what you said. Like, I had a question earlier, but I think it was Victoria started talking, and then a honeybee, and I didn't have to ask my question.
All right.
Because I heard it through the sharing. And I just want to say, I love the sharing. I don't feel like anybody's saying too much or anything like that. To hear how other people's perspectives, thoughts, feelings is really gravely important for me. It's because I'm a loner, like severe. So I appreciate the shares. That's all I wanted to say.
Absolutely. 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 All right. I'm going to rush on and wrap it up with the plane descriptions. All right. So the physical plane. Physical plane represents the physical body and its structure, composition, and durability. It is ruled by your intuition and directly deals with all that can be touched and felt, all that can be observed and admired, and all that is tangible and real. Let me repeat that again. It is ruled by your intuition, your physical plane, and directly deals with all that can be touched and felt, all that can be observed and admired, and all that is tangible and real. Sometimes you be going somewhere and something tell you to stop. And you don't know why I tell you stop, but you stop, and then you get to the corner and there's a big ass wreck. Or yeah, your physical plane is ruled by your intuition. Flights of fancy and imagination are not handled very well on this plane, as this plane prefers to know. Based in facts, however, always leaning into common sense. The physical plane is the very foundation of life, for herein lies the actual control of the substance and pattern of humankind's existence. That's the physical plane. Any questions about the physical plane? Nope. All right. The mental plane. Yep. Somebody had a question?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Actually, I had a story about the intuitive plane, so we can share that later once you get to it.
Okay. The mental plane. The mental plane represents and embodies the mind and reasoning instincts. It is the alignment and synthesis of mental pertinence and investigation, the gathering and vetting of facts, only accepting that which can be proven through careful analysis. Let's hear this again. It is the alignment and synthesis of mental pertinence and investigation, the gathering and vetting of facts, only accepting that which can be proven through careful analysis. It represents the discipline and determination and the states of mind that foster positivity and productivity, and can be exacting and precise in calculating when the coloring of facts becomes apparent. When the disinformation, when the assaults on your intelligence become apparent, when the insult becomes apparent, when the offense becomes apparent. Your mental plane is what is exacting and precise and calculating in that response. Excellent mind, exceptional thought, and executive ability will allow for leadership opportunities and status. That's the mental plane. The emotional plane represents our emotion, affection, and disposition, and causes life to become heated up and caring. Yes, Deirdre. I'll see your hand. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry. It takes me a minute to unmute. I'm trying to see this without my glasses. What you just said about the mental plane, my mental plane, because I had surgery, so I'm on a lot of medication. And when you said that, it was like, wow, my mental plane has been totally asleep, dormant. Dormant. But then when situations started to arise in my dormancy, I got irritated and I started speaking up. And that is exactly what you said. You know how everybody has a pet peeve?
Yep.
Mine is don't insult my intelligence.
Absolutely. That'll trigger me quick.
Don't insult my intelligence because I'm quiet and people tend, well, it doesn't seem like I'm quiet, but people, most of the time I'm quiet and friendly, and people tend to take that as a stupidity or something. And I don't know how that fits in, but my experience was so deep in this season right here. And maybe also it was the retrograde that my sister was talking about. Victorious, yes. Yeah, it's been a little rough right there, but I tell you what, when when things started getting too crazy and the things weren't working in my favor, then all of a sudden I came alive.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and had to speak up for myself to make things happen. I definitely did that too.
Absolutely. That's how it goes. That is how it goes. And once we, and knowing this now, just you acknowledging that is going to wake up your mental, and your mental, trust me, your mental ain't been dormant. It's just been quiet. It's there. It's just been quiet, and it will begin to roar and roar and roar as much as you want it to. Just tap into it and lean into it. That's
all right. Yeah, I've been feeling like a zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask
Thank you,
you
Mark.
a question?
Yes, you can.
Is she a 7? Are you a 7? Or you got
No.
some 7s in her chart?
Somewhere. Yeah.
I only
Okay.
asked that because she talked about being a loner, and then you made a statement about speaking up for yourself, and that's been like one of the biggest things. Like, you know, people look at me and they don't think I'm shy, and I'm super shy. I have Saturn in my first house conjuncting my ascendant, so I'm super reserved. That Taurus and that Saturn in my chart makes me very reserved. So I just thought that was really interesting because that's been the biggest thing for me. And you would never think that I have Aries. I have my Aries, Mercury in Aries. You would never think that I would be, it's not even at a loss for words, but just very reserved and shy. But Spirit is telling me it's time to speak out.
Yep.
And so I just wanted to just, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
And the thing about me is really interesting because I am very quiet, but when the opportunity presents itself, and I'm able to share, it's a big share. I feel like a damn oracle sometimes,
You are an oracle.
We all are on this call.
Yeah, you are. You are.
And so I don't mind talking. It's just that I wait. I don't talk. Here it is. I only talk if folks are listening. If I feel like you're not interested or not listening, I feel like it's foolish of me to open my mouth and share. That's it.
I agree.
All right. Thank you guys both for that. The emotional plane. The emotional plane represents our emotion, affection, and disposition, and causes life to become heated up and caring. Facts become blurred and pushed away by the fantasy of the imagination, by the wonders of inspiration, and by the slippery or slick creative thought process. Emotionalism, rather than facts, reason, logic, and common sense, rules the actions and reactions to life, adversity, and to people, and is tremendously influenced by our affections and thoughts of love. Dreams of the beautiful and fantastical are commonplace and renders logic irrelevant when considering the big plans of the emotional nature. Emotions are the cause of a lot of stuff. I'm just gonna put it that way. In the emotional plane, and in conjunction with other things in a person's chart that is no just one specific thing. It's a whole bunch of things that go into these adverse incidents. But you can see it in the emotional plane. You definitely can. All right, the intuitive plane. Do you want to tell your story about the intuitive plane before I go through this, Victorious, or after?
I can do it now.
Okay.
So I may have shared this story before, but I just wanted to show or just express how powerful our intuition is. And so this was a time, the 4th of July, and something happens around the 4th of July. I didn't know this until recently. Now I know what it is because our sun lines up with the star Series B. Yep. And I didn't know why I've had quite a few like really interesting episodes on the 4th of July, but now I'm coming into the awareness that it has something to do with that. But anyway, on the 4th of July, I was going to a fireworks show at Exposition. And it's almost impossible to park around that area. So I did my little, prayers to the parking god, got a park with no problems. And at the time, I was dating a Capricorn who was super skeptical of, not my lifestyle, but just probably more or less my spiritual belief systems. Mm-hmm. But he would see things that I was able to do and couldn't really explain them because it wasn't lined up with his ideology of spirituality.
Right.
So anyway, I said the prayer to the parking gods out loud, and we just kind of chuckled because I found a park. But as we were entering the park, there were a ton of people just spread out with their blankets and their chairs and, getting ready for the fireworks show. And so as I was walking through the park, I had this overwhelming sensation to just stop. My spirit said, stop. And I was literally standing next to this tree that was well grounded, mm-hmm. in the ground. And something just said, stop. And he looked at me and he said, why are we stopping? I said, I don't know, but let's just stand here for a minute. And I kid you not, the sprinklers came on and all the people sitting in the park got wet and not one drop of water hit me or him.
Yep.
And he looked at me and he was like, I knew you were a witch. And we just kind of chuckled about it. Uh-huh. But just to show you how powerful your intuition is. And when you get that moment of just mm-hmm. whatever it is, for me, it's always in my gut.
Right.
And so whenever you have that experience, pay attention because it might be a moment that saves your life. For me, I was lucky. It was just water. But imagine in other circumstances and situations when you ignore your intuition, absolutely. Especially in times that we're in now, But I just wanted to share that, but it just goes to show you how powerful your intuition is. And yeah. And absolutely. By the way, I think my intuition is a 4.
Okay, good. Intuitive plane. Thank you for that, Victorious. The intuitive plane. The intuitive plane represents the spiritual degree of understanding and inner knowing of higher facts, higher even than the farthest one's imagination can go, and directed by revelation and cosmic impressions. Through intuition, humankind expresses this divine and cosmic wisdom and revelation on the physical, mental, and emotional planes of action and awareness. The intuitive plane affords humankind admiration, adoration, compassion, patience, tolerance, invention, innovation, and prophecy. It also affords humankind that quiet assurance of inner guidance, which affects and quickens all other levels of life and living. The intuitive plane is that fuel for all those other levels of life and living, and trusting that intuitive plane fuel exponentially improves your life day after day after day, regardless of what your lot in life is. It improves it day after day after day. That's what's going on with the intuitive plane. Any questions, comments about the intuitive planes, the planes of expression?
Hello?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
hi,
great. Hi. So, I really agree with you with that, because how can we get people who are composers and make music? I mean, I've been trying to learn, not professionally. I'm still trying to take a class to learn the piano. But you see how Prince, that's all he did. He was his only music box. I mean, mm-hmm. And so it was an amazing how you see people create from what they feel. And absolutely. So I really believe that. I really believe that intuition guides you into your role. into your role, because I can't see myself doing anything but social work. And I'm, you know, and everybody don't pick kind of because their body leads them into their role in life. And so it's amazing how it's so true that how when it clicks, it stays with you for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Anybody else?
I want to say this too. You know, imagine how many people in this world, and this is based on what she said, what Jolene said about picking careers or how she loved social work, and that it became very natural to her. And there have been times where I've gone to doctor's offices and even dealing with a surgeon. And I looked at this man and I saw that he was not happy with his career. And it made me think about with like certain ethnicities and people who get forced into doing certain careers and professions that's not what they wanted to do.
Absolutely.
And so it just made me think about that, because like even going back to you talking about like people making fun of, you know, your ideology, your spirituality, your way of thinking. And imagine how many people today are in careers that they didn't necessarily want to be in.
Yep.
Because they were pushed by their parents because they had
or societal pressure or
yes.
or peer pressure or
right.
you know, or some other thing that caused them not to look inside of themselves and to yield to that which was outside of them. Absolutely.
And my point is that goes against your intuition, because intuitively you know what you want to do.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
But we live in a world that tells you, no, you're going to honor my name. And
absolutely. That part. Yeah. Absolutely.
But then you're doing more damage to that person by not letting them follow their dreams.
Absolutely.
That's so true. That is so true. My mother picked our high school subjects for me, for all of us. I was business. My brother was like a broiler. He's still doing his broilers. She picked that for him. And my other sister to do hair. I mean, my mother picked. And so by the time some of my sisters and brothers dropped out of school, you know, because it wasn't what they wanted. And this conversation we're having now, we didn't have that kind of conversation. And so in New York, when they put me in when I was a senior in high school, they put you on this Job Corps thing, and they put me in front of a typewriter and a phone, trying to put me as a secretary.
Right.
And I didn't last too long answering somebody else's phone. I didn't last too long, you know, typing your paper for you. And I turned around. I was in high school, and I turned around and I kind of yelled out. I said, "Can't he answer his own phone?" You know, it's like, and I knew I'm not going to be there sitting and doing that kind of work, and I never did. I don't have the tolerance for it.
I got you. Thank you for that, Jolene. You're much appreciated. Yes, Sharon, you have your hand up.
For the intuitive
yes.
expression, would you go over the intensities again? Because I have a 3, and I just want to see how that relates as it relates to the intuition.
The 3 is in the, hold on. The 3 would be when intuition is average, it gives depth of feeling and ability to understand mankind and humanity without too much personal feeling. Yeah, that because 3 is an average intuitive number. 3 is average. I wouldn't consider 3 too many intuitive plane numbers. We have interacted enough for me to know that you're not spiritually sensitive, and I don't think you have great dramatic talent. I don't. So I think you're closer to average. I have 2 and I'm in average intuition. Oh, I mean, I have 4 and I'm still average. 2, 3, 4 is about average.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
I just have one question.
Mhm.
So just for all of us on the call right now, can you give us like on a scale from 1 to 10, what's considered average, medium, above average, just so we can kind of scale it out a little bit for, I know.
Okay.
Like,
So, 4s and 5s are common numbers in names. So to have 2 or 3 or 4 physical numbers, that's about average. Hold on.
would anything above 5 be excessive? Or anything above 6?
For the physical?
For any of our expressions of planes of expression.
No, each one will have a different average.
Okay, see, this is good to know.
Because the physical
so it
plane
varies with each expression.
Yeah, okay. Because 4s and 5s are kind of common in names. So, to have 3 or 4 or maybe even 5 of them is not that's about average. 3 or 4 or 5 is about average on the physical plane. Now, 3 or 4 1s or 8s, that's a lot on the mental plane. That would be a lot.
So if you had an 8 in a mental plane, that's
a lot. Yeah.
Is that genius or almost crazy? Or both?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. And then BKTs and CLUs and FOXs, not too, I mean, of the letters, you might have 1 of each. So, average would be 2 or 3 emotional, maybe 4 at the most. But you get more than 4 and that's too many. And then P, G's, and Y's aren't that common in names. So if you have 1 P, G, Y, or 1 I or R, that's about average.
Okay.
And if you got more than 2 intuitive plane numbers, yeah, you doing the most intuitively. Yeah, I'm 4 on the intuitive. I know I do the most. I know I do the most spiritually.
You say you can do what?
I know I be doing the most intuitively, spiritually. I be connecting with all kind of shit. Sure do. I'm not afraid to go nowhere in the cosmos. Nowhere. Not at all. Not at all. And because, I'm 2 on the mental, so I'm balanced. And I'm 2 on the emotional, so I'm balanced. I'm 6 on the physical, so come and get you some. Yeah, that's why even as old as I am, I still think I want to fight. I'm 6 on the physical, man. You ain't gonna fuck with me. Not physically, you're not. And then intuitively, I'm 4 on the intuitive. I'm stable. I'm a fortress. I'm an intuitive fortress. 6, 2, 2, 4. Those are my
What is the 3 on the intuitive plane again?
I would say 3. Yeah, I'm 4.
I think that's what Jolene just said, right?
Yeah, I'm 4 on the intuitive.
Okay.
And then those planes, those numbers that you get in those 4 planes, that's your point of comfort. That number is your point of comfort. Yeah. And that mine would be a 14-5. That's my point of comfort, my place of security, safety. If I'm running from somebody, which I'll never run from nobody, but if I am ever running from somebody and I see a place that has a 14-5 address, I run in there, I'll be safe. Yes, Sharon.
Hey, I have a 7 physical expression, and I'm just curious, would that lend to anxiety?
Yes. Yes.
That explains a lot. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, a lot of anxiety. Any type of ailment you ever get, you get the exact and precise dose of it. Whatever is out there, if you get a cold, you get the worst cold there is. If you have hay fever, it's the worst hay fever there is. Whatever you get, yeah. Am I right or wrong? Just let me know.
You're right. You're right. Because I had COVID, it almost took me out because I'm used to being sick. So it just hit me like wham. And I'm like, well, come get me, Lord.
Now, because you are 7 on the physical, you're right. You tend to not ever get sick, hardly ever. Do you ever get sick? But when you do, you get the whammy. You get the knockout. Yeah. They when you get sick, folks should start calling in the wailers. You know, back in the Bible, they used to call folks. They would hire people to come and wail and weep at your funeral.
I needed that. I really did.
Oh, but that's 7 on the physical definitely definitely keeps you in the more of the physically healthy people. However, whenever you get anything, it's doing the most. You don't have just a little slight fever. You get a fever, it's time to go to the hospital. You don't.
Because I have an allergic reaction to some perfume that's in it's either in the dryer sheets or the washing powder itself. And it actually happened to me in college where I got like 107 fever just sitting in the room, letting it fester and smell. And I had no idea why I was so sick. And then because it's like my friends would come over and they would open the door. And I was like, it feels so good when you come in, not knowing that it's letting the fumes out. And so it's like when it hits me, even the smallest things, it's like wham, it's about to take me out.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You're so welcome. Anybody else?
So I'm gonna ask you one more question. I keep saying this, but it keeps coming up multiple questions. So knowing how powerful our names are, and in certain cultures, they choose their names based on the life that they want them to live.
Absolutely.
And I know so often with particularly our culture, Black culture, we tend to give names however they come to us.
No rhyme or reason. Ain't no thought process put into it at all.
If you could advise any of your listeners, what would you advise them with regards to choosing names for their children?
Well, first, I would definitely advise them to research their bloodline, their family history, and find out how far they can go back and look at some of the names of the folks in your bloodline before the perils of colonization took grip into us. That would be number one. Number two, it is very important that you do not make up a name just because you think it sounds cute. It is very important that you resist. I was talking to somebody about this earlier today or earlier this week. You know, there was a time when we used to name our kids after cough syrup and cars and, you know, Panadol, Tylenol, all of that old shit. And
I'm sorry.
I'm serious. I'm serious.
But no, you're not lying.
You know, yes, Sharon, go ahead.
I want to add to that, and then I have another question. It's funny because as a child, I'm like really young. I think I was like probably like 13 or 14, thinking about the first name of my child, and you could not tell me Chandelier was not going to be.
See?
Would write it in those bubble letters that we used to just put stars. Like her name was gonna be Chandelier. And now that I'm older now, I was just like, why would I have done that to that child?
I mean, go ahead.
So my question is, is it possible? I don't know if we could have master numbers in the planes of expression, and if so, when does it ever happen like that? We have that many?
That would be that would be a tremendous name to be able to get a master. Yeah, and even if you could get up to the highest I've seen is 10. And anything more than 10 means that the person is going to be outstanding on that plane, just extremely outstanding. So 10 or more, they'll be extremely outstanding. After 10, it doesn't matter how many more numbers are added in there. If they got 10 on the physical, yeah, that's going to be a very excellent physical special.
Thanks.
10 on the mental or 10 on the emotional, yeah, that's a super serial killer. Super serial killer. 10 on the emotional, that's a super serial killer. And 10 on the intuitive, yeah, you would have a halo glowing above your head, but you wouldn't be able to live too long because you wouldn't be able to because 10 on the intuitive, you could give a fuck about physical, so you ain't gonna really be eating too much. And yeah, you're gonna not even want to do anything physical or mental or emotional, and you will have tremendous health problems because of the vibrations in those 7s and 9s.
It's kind of like the people that would have dementia, like the line gets blurred and you're not really tell what's real and what's okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because you have to know that, especially the intuitive plane numbers, they're 7s and 9s. 7s and 9s are real sensitive, real high strung in their own ways. 7 high strung, want to be the loner. 9 is high strung, hail fellow well met. Yeah, those are, and if you got 10 of those in a name, yeah, you're not gonna be able to do anything but to be the spiritualist. Your diet and all of that is not even gonna matter to you. All you're gonna do is you're gonna just be spiritual. Everything is gonna be spiritual, and it's gonna be, your health will go by the wayside quick, because you won't have any concern for anything else. You'll be overly dominated by the spiritual. And those 7s and 9s, they vibrate differently. They really vibrate. You're gonna have a vibration. Say you got 5 7s and 5 9s. You're gonna have an equal vibration of, I don't give a fuck, but I give a fuck. 7, I don't give a fuck. 9, I give a fuck. That's gonna drive your ass crazy.
Well, you say that, and that is my birth path and my destiny number, along with those other 7s in my chart. So I have a lot of 7s, not so many 9s, but definitely the 7s.
But this is just strictly in a plane of expression. Yeah, okay. This will be strictly in a plane of expression. Yeah.
Okay, so
Honey B, did you have your hand up? I'm sorry.
No,
I was just saying it functions different when it's the birth path and the destiny.
Yeah, much different.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I would advise everybody, if you are naming a child, one of the names, like first, middle, last, or you want to do one of those, either the first name or the middle name, make it a H, Q, or Z by itself. The reason why is because you will have an 8 in every essence of your life. You want one of those 8s.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Every essence that you ever have, if you have a H, Q, or Z as one of your names, it's only one letter. So you go through it 8 years and you're back, 8 years and 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 back. I would keep an 8 in every essence for newborn now.
That's amazing. That's amazing because my grandson, she's having, I'm not going to say the name, but there was a Z there.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't tell her that, but I mean, to do that, but she's very intuition. And, you know, my grandson is the same way. He talks so intuitively with it like poetry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's beautiful. I'm like, wow. But I do want to say something about the lonely, to be a loner. I think I'm a loner. It's nothing wrong with being a loner. And yeah, about the eating habit. I don't eat and I don't cook. So I cook. I eat more when I'm with my mom because she likes to eat. So I'll eat with her. But on my own. So you know what I did for this new year? I filled up my freezer with food. I mean, I bought a steak. I don't buy steaks, but I bought a $15 whatever the thing. I make sure to fill my freezer so I could be, when I'm home by myself,
right.
I could remind myself, oh, Jolene, eat. Because my body doesn't tell me I'm hungry.
Right.
I'm so much in my head,
that's
you know, and writing and thinking.
Yep, that's a 7
Yeah,
thing.
I have to remind myself to eat.
I do.
And
I have to do.
I'm
that.
not sick, you know, but
I have to do that every day.
Huh?
Every day, I have to remind myself. Oh snap! You ain't ate yet, boy.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. It's weird, but yeah.
Every day. Mm-hmm. Every day. All right. Anybody else?
I'm going to share this last thing with regards to Jolene said. When I was in college, I lost more weight than I had ever. Like when I was in college, I had never been that small. And it was because my brain capacity was on 100. And often I would forget to eat. So the first semester, I would eat on campus and then I would start bringing snacks. And so that was to remind myself to eat in between. And then the snacks that I brought was healthier. What was ironic is that I was eating like 5 small meals a day, and I actually ended up losing more weight than I had ever lost in my life. And I felt the healthiest in my life because I was eating small meals throughout the day. And it's probably the most disciplined I had been in my life. But all I have to say is that, like, I get what she's saying with the 7s,
Mm-hmm.
is that we get so wrapped up, especially if we're passionate about whatever it is we're passionate about.
Absolutely.
That's the first thing, like you forget to eat.
Yep. Absolutely.
And I do the same thing. So I have to put myself on a schedule.
Absolutely. I do too.
Yeah.
Yep. Or I'll just keep going. I'll just keep on going. Yes, Sharon.
Okay, the show yesterday, not yesterday, but Tuesday, I think you asked us for ideas for shows.
Yeah.
I would love if we could do like a case study on like well-known people,
Okay.
like the best of the best and the worst of the worst, so we can see like numerically like everything pans out. I would love to.
Okay, we could do that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, we could do that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, honeybee.
Speaking of the call Thursday, Justelle dropped her information in the chat for the retrograde report, and I had a report done by her like over a year ago, and it was freaking amazing. Sorry, it was absolutely wonderful. It was very in depth, very detailed, and I just really loved it. I would love to get a copy of that retrograde report. I could shoot you my information, but I would love to get more from you again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shoot it over to her. She will definitely.
I got you, honeybee. And anybody else that still want that report, I don't think Deidre was on the call.
Right.
So I'll drop my email in the chat room real quick. So thank you, honeybee, for that. I'll drop my email.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'll drop my email in the chat real quick. So if you guys still want that information, yeah, I'll send it to you.
Thank you for that.
You are so welcome.
And
I think right now with where we are, this is going to be super helpful. And this is just one report that I do, and it's free of charge, you know. Yeah, just be mindful of this, because it's going to give you some insight as to when we have these Mercury retrogrades. As this is what Honeybee was talking about. It's just going to give you some insight as to how to deal with what's going on. And going back to what Jolene is saying, you know, we're feeling a little fuzzy right now, and you know, it's nothing to beat yourself up about, but don't make any major decisions, and you know, you'll be fine. And give yourself until like closer to March, and March is going to be a better period for a lot of us. Just coming out of the Mercury retrograde cycle and then going into the Piscean energy and all that other stuff. So yeah. Thank you, Mark, for to share.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
May I share something?
Sure.
So I'm you know, while I'm listening, I'm so glad to be in this meeting this evening. What I've been dealing with is not caring. It's
Okay.
like people are, they call me to tell me stuff like somebody died, or, you know, all these people's home burned down. And and the thing is, it's not that I don't care about that, but my heart, I see the homeless when I go out, that burdens my heart all the time. And then, so someone calls me and tells me, you know, that kind of news and everything. And it's almost like I feel like I don't care.
You don't.
But I do care, but I don't care.
And I totally get it, because I don't give a fuck. I do, but I don't. So I know exactly what you're saying. And it's not a bad thing. You just are prioritizing your energy over someone else's horseshit. That's all. And it doesn't matter. Look, somebody was all waxing nostalgia. Oh, Sidney Poitier died and blah, 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 blah. And I said, everyone is dying. We're all dying.
And I say we live to die.
Right. That's the only way you get off of this
circle of life.
The only way you get off this rock is to die. So everybody is dying. Act accordingly. That's my whole thought. That's always been my thought.
I feel like I'm dead.
I answer my phone. It's just, and then when I answered, I regret that I answered it. It's just like, what the?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy she said that, because I'm so conscious now about picking up my phone, and I just don't answer calls all willy-nilly, because I never know what's at the end of that phone call. And I'd be like, text me or leave me a message, because I just don't pick up my phone all willy-nilly. I just don't do that anymore.
No.
Yeah.
And because you just don't know what's the other end of that phone call. And I've had times where I've picked up the phone and then it just completely wrecked my day. And I'd be like, you know what? I would have rather have gotten this in a voicemail or a text.
Or not at all.
Or not at all.
Or not at all.
Right there.
Right. Or not at all.
And one time I went to, I saw my phone and I saw who was calling. And I said, why does she keep calling me? And I was swiping the reject and end up swiping the answer. So I don't even know if she heard me.
Look, my phone since right before Christmas, I don't know what happened, but it's been tripping for real. And I ain't even really mad, because now I don't even hardly halfway even hear anything ring or nothing. I had to go look at it to see, man, I don't have time. I don't have time for anything that is not serving my highest good, that is not tangibly affecting my bottom line. Okay. And that is not a manifesting goal, desired, active pursuit of my own. I don't have no time. I don't have no other time available. It's just like when folks walk up to you and ask you for spare change, or you got an extra cigarette. No, it only came 20 in the pack, bro. That's all that was in here was 20. It wasn't one on the outside. It wasn't. No, I don't have no spare change, man. I don't go cash my check and then they say, oh, wait, here's 58 cents more to give to somebody. No, I don't have nothing spare. They're asking me if I got spare change. Oh, that used to bug the hell out of me, man.
And that's kind of me here lately too. It's like I keep my ringer off most of the time. So when it rings, I don't even feel bad that I didn't hear it. And then when people call me, it's like sometimes I just completely zone out in the whole conversation and I feel bad because they'll ask me a question and I just completely did not hear the question. I'm like, yeah. They're like, it wasn't a yes or no question. I'm like, oh, so what about just to change the subject? And I had a friend call me yesterday. It's like, Sidney Poitier died. And I was like, so? Like, it's not to say I don't care, but I really don't.
You don't.
Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm learning for me, that was me learning to set boundaries for myself.
Yep. That's a setting a boundary. Absolutely.
Yep, that was learning to set boundaries, and which has been one of my biggest lessons on this planet.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm going to say this, I have a quote. The greatest or the most successful person on the planet knows their limitations.
Yep.
And that comes with setting boundaries.
Yep.
And I'm going to shut up after that. At least I think so for now.
No worries. Sharon, what you mean you just finding out? Where you been?
I don't know. I did not know he died. So I'm
Sid passed yesterday or the day before. You didn't see your timeline flooded with "To Serve with Love" and the first Black to win an Emmy and all that old horse shit.
No, I'm limited with my Facebook.
Oh,
good for you, Sharon. Good for you.
Good for you. Look,
that's how much I don't care when you scroll up and down my
feed. Right there.
Wait. We got a breakthrough, y'all. Hold up. Can you tell us how we could do that for ourselves? Because, yeah.
Well, I have an app called Freedom on computer and whatever. It will not let you go on Facebook. It'll just block it altogether. Give it a certain time range. So only at 9 to 10 o'clock am I allowed to like go on Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, any of those places. Just that 1 hour a day, and then it's cut off.
So it's called Freedom?
Yeah, it's called Freedom.
Okay.
Freedom. Can I share something?
Yeah.
That is so funny because I give myself 2 hours a day to watch TV.
Okay.
It don't always work, but, but now I know there's an app for stuff like that.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It's potent too. So if you actually have an emergency and you actually have to get on Facebook for whatever reason, just email them and be like, okay, can you release it so I can get on Facebook?
See, no, ain't nothing that important. If I done set the limit, Look, hey, I just tell people, hey, I couldn't contact you, dog. I was locked out. What? No, that's good. I love that. I
do too.
I love that.
But I did the same thing. I didn't pay my internet bill, so I don't have
another way that you can cut off that shit
and
too.
Because I'm only one person. Now I have a condo, and I can't be sitting here paying bills out. I can't. And so I want to reserve. I want to be able to enjoy and not to overstate myself. So I let it go. And when I need it again, after I pay, what I got to do, maybe I'll get it back in the summertime. Right now, because I have internet at work. So by the time I go home, I can read a book. I don't have
You're done. Yep, you're done. That's some 7 shit right there too. You're done. That's right. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. We went a little bit over today. It has been great. Anybody else got a final thought? Anything they would like to say before I shut it down here today?
No, always just grateful for this platform.
Absolutely.
Me too.
I'm grateful for everybody that showed up today. All right. This has been On the Sevens with Pythagoras B. Metatron, where we come to awaken, ascend, and expand. This is home of the 88 steps into your mastered self. And I guarantee you, if you keep On the Sevens with Pythagoras B. Metatron a part of your soul's journey, somewhere along the way, your mastered self awaits you. Unlock the cosmic code of your name and start happening to life instead of allowing life to happen to you. I am always just saying goodbye for now, never goodbye forever. I will see you guys on Tuesday. Take care.
You too. Thank you. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Be blessed. Be
Bye.
blessed.
Peace. Have a great
Bye.
week and
Bye,
send blessings.
Victoria.
Bye.
Bye-bye.